What's the best Kiwi event in New Zealand? This crossing New Zealand in 1 or 2 days. Why do I do it? Because I love it. 3, 2, 1, go!
Welcome to the Kathmandu Coast to Coast podcast, a podcast that's dedicated to helping you get from the water's edge of the west coast of New Zealand over to the water's edge of the east coast of New Zealand by running, biking and kayaking your way across some of New Zealand's greatest landscapes. It's great to be back for season 2, and with me is my partner in crime, Richard Greer.
What a great intro, Angus. You've obviously been practicing that since last season.
Just having a wee warm-up in the background there, Richard. There's always, plenty of training going on.
Yeah, good stuff. Hey, it's dark, it's cold, it's winter, and we're talking coast to coast. It's in the middle of summer, isn't it? It does fizz me up, gets me excited. Hey, that must mean spring's almost on its way, surely.
Oh, 100%. Now is the time. There's never a better time than to start training for the coast to coast. Is there at all?
Absolutely. No, it's awesome, and there's a lot of people fizzing about it. Been working with all sorts of different people, lots of different levels, and tonight really looking forward to chatting to Glenn to get an idea of where the event's at with everything that's been going on. Chatting to Alison Wilson, who got second in the longest day, first time out earlier this year, and then Matt Bateman, who's put his name down, fizzed as a result of doing the 3-person team. And completing the mountain run, he's like, no, I'm going to do the tandem team. So Conda's flatmate actually to sign up, and we're going to have a chat to him as well. So 3 awesome people to have a chat to tonight.
Yeah, and can I just say a huge thank you to Kathmandu and to the Coast to Coast for having the CP Media team back again for season 2. That's a pretty big privilege to be allowed back for a second crack at this, Rich.
Yeah, no, we must have done something right.
Yeah, and also, again, a great big thank you to Team CP, your endurance coaching specialist, for helping put the CP Media team out here live for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. No, good job. Righto, should we crack on with Glenn, race director?
Yeah, I tell you what, let's bring old Glenn in, see what he's up to. Welcome, Glenn.
How you going, lads? How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, good. Yep.
Story, you've had how's your off season been? What have you been up to since race day?
It's quite a big we actually have quite a big debrief post event, and we were scheduled to have our debrief meetings with our mountain safety and river safety team the week that lockdown started, actually. So we tuned into those through the digital world to get those done, and then had a bit of quiet time over COVID time, and we're back into planning mode.
Good job. So just jumping back to 2020, that was an interesting race, obviously with a bit of weather and rain and a different course for the 2 days. So what were some of your highlights?
Yeah, no, it was interesting. I think there's probably been 3 race directors in that event, and we're all probably in agreement that your worst case scenario as a race director is having a 50-50 call, and 2020 sort of gave us one of those. So we went to the plan B on the run for the 2 days, and which we've actually worked on for the last 5 years to try to spice it up a little bit, I suppose. And I suppose the highlight for me was the feedback in terms of that run, and that people actually probably had a better experience than what they potentially expected by having to go over the plan B course.
Yeah, and I'll advocate for that as well, because I was in the 2-day and totally agree. I couldn't believe how much off-road we were doing, and it was in places actually more brutal because there was no tracks or trails. No one had been through there, so you're just stumbling over this rocky riverbed mess. It was awesome.
Yeah. No, I think people definitely felt they got it still had that sort of goat pass feeling when they got to Klondike. So that was great.
Yeah, good job. And obviously the second half of the course down the river, that wasn't straightforward either, with that southerly coming through and really knocked a few people around.
Nah, so we had a pretty mixed day that day, didn't we? So it started off really nicely, and I think those 2-day athletes that got through early on the course and off the river early actually had one of probably the best paddles you could experience down the river there. And then especially our longest day athletes, they got really hammered by that southerly wind. It sort of funnels. It's like the nor'west in the reverse. It's funneling up that gorge, and it caused a lot of excitement in the rock garden area. Actually, was probably where we found we had a lot of our work in terms of the event. So it was heck of a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything you're looking to develop for 2021?
To be honest, basically what we've been looking at really is around the current structure in terms of what the whole world's dealing with, and how we as an event are going to deal with that. And that's probably been our big focus. So we're really fortunate to have it in February this year, and we're fortunate that we've sort of had a year to get through the current situation and hopefully be able to hold event again. But we're looking in sort of like if it was a level 3 situation, etc. How could we run the event and the structure around that? So yeah, maybe there was a few new initiatives, but they'll probably go on pause this year, and we're just trying to make sure that we get a really good experience for those people that entered next year. Dealing with what we have to deal with outside of the race, I suppose.
No, I mean, looking back, Coast to Coast has dodged a bullet in regards to the earthquakes and COVID, hopefully as well. So doing well with that event date.
Lucky.
Has it affected the race at all in terms of COVID?
So internationals. So we sort of have around 140 internationals entered currently. We've gone out to the people outside of Australia in terms of those internationals, and we've been, quite honest and said, look, we don't think by February that our borders will be open to anyone outside Australia. So we've said to them quite honestly, we were happy to refund you and give them priority entry into the 2022 event. Australians were still sitting there, hoping that they'll get over, and people might have seen the Bondi clip recently, and we've got a lot of Australians interested now, which is awesome. So we'll watch this space with that, and we're just going to try to keep that option open as long as we can, really, for those guys. So that's probably going to be the biggest impact at the moment. If we're in a level 4 situation going into the event this year for New Zealanders who are entered, I mean, the events, there'll be obviously a heck of a lot more hand sanitizer around like everywhere, but the event's sort of situated in a good space, I suppose.
Yeah, great. So you've got some good planning going on, and you'll just, it's above your level, and you'll just do what you can to have an awesome experience. So, people that are signed up for the event or in the future looking to sign up for the event, what are some of the key things that they should be looking forward to, especially if it's their first time around?
There's 2 key parts to that event, and that's that's that mountain run and the river paddle. Obviously, they're so special, and the race is considered iconic, and it's those 2 aspects of that event that make it so special. And it's about this time of year also that you start reflecting on training for the event, and it's such a cool event to train for, because you're just out doing missions all the time in the hills, and that's what you can do. And getting your mates and getting over Goat Pass or going to your local mountain run, etc., is what the cool thing is the build up to the race. And for a lot of people, I think for most people actually who do their first event, the race is just a full stop to that whole year journey towards it. And as I've said to people that I've talked to that entered for the first time this year, it's going to be a heck of a journey because they've had a lot of stuff thrown at them which others haven't, So, yeah.
So in terms of that preparation, because it is key, because it's a long way for a start, but there's also a lot of logistics involved to actually be successful. It's not just about turning up with your shoes on the start line. What should people be thinking about now? What are we, July? And through the race day?
Yeah, so July. So we're past that shortest day, and I know where I live, it's at the moment to get out and exercise. It's pretty hard to get motivated. It is brutal. Yeah. But in another couple of weeks, that's probably where people, especially in the longest day and the 2-day event, it's now that you've really got to start switching on. And there's lots of ways to make that easier. And when I raced, I always relied on a training program from someone outside. I've got a phys ed degree, but I always found that someone provided me with a program. It was just a matter of me ticking the boxes each day, so I could actually pick up that program and say, that's what I'm going to do today, go do it. And I actually had a family when I raced as well, so my family could see what I had to tick off that day as well, and it made life easier. So yeah, nice. We do have links to that on our website if anyone's interested in information in regards to that further.
Nice. So was it ever someone to kick you up the butt to actually get going, or were you pretty self-motivated back in the day?
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I didn't pay anyone. That was my wife. So yeah, I married the person for that role.
Okay. Yeah. Good job. No, that's fantastic. And any sort of key things, what are you working on at the moment? What's the key sort of thing that you're doing right now?
For the event, so right now we're really working hard on our operations. I'm actually doing the budget at the moment for the 2021 event, but our operations is probably the key aspect now that we're focused on. So there's a lot of contractors, etc. we use to make the event happening. So we're locking those in and just getting those things ironed out, I suppose, is what we're punching out at the moment.
Brilliant. All right, Glenn. Anything else? So anything else to add?
Just before we go, Glenn, let's
Angus.
Your waiting list, mate. How long is the waiting list at the moment?
So we closed off our wait list at 200 this year, and we did think to ourselves, like we went out to those people on the wait list and said, look, we hope to get you an entry, but the chances are slim. To some of those people that are sitting on that wait list, your chances may have just increased a little bit with what's happening internationally. So yes, hang in there, keep training, and get out and do it, because there will be. I think the reality is that we will have more spaces become available than what we initially planned for, just due to due to the COVID situation, I suppose. So yeah, keep training, get outside, and get amongst it.
That's where I was angling for. You people that are on the wait list,
Yep.
don't give up yet. This could definitely be your year, a year of opportunities this year, that's for sure. Glenn,
Yeah, for sure.
thank you so much for joining us. All the best putting this iconic event together, the Kathmandu Coast to Coast. It's bloody good buggers like you that keep this race going. So thank you very much. And we look forward to joining you further down our series.
Yeah, thanks, boys. I'm so excited about just getting to that stage. My favourite part of the event when I get there every year is actually I make a point of getting dropped off at the first transition onto the bikes and walking down to that beach on both days and just because for me, that is the race, that sense of nervousness, everyone's sitting there. And I'm really excited this year about getting to that and actually walking to that beach and feeling that and seeing all those people that have gone through this year to get to that start line. And I think it'll be quite special if we can get it, and it's something for people to look forward to. So I personally think that the 2021 event is going to be really special if we can get it underway. So thanks, lads, and look forward to seeing everyone there.
Awesome.
Cheers, Glenn.
Thanks, Glenn.
Cool.
Cheers. Oh, so great, Richard. So great to see the passion, and Glenn's pretty upbeat there. Especially for what we've been through the COVID period and through all the other trials and tribulations. Great to have a race director who is super upbeat and just on a roller coaster to make this happen for us all.
Every time I talk about this race, I get fired up. I have to be careful. It's so good. Fantastic.
You want to be careful. That might lead you somewhere. You need to be careful there, Rich.
Absolutely. Yeah, nice work. So second person we've got on the cards is Allie Wilson. We had a little intro before. Allie got second in the women's longest day. So we're going to have a bit of a chat to her and find out a bit about her background, find out what happened in her race and how she got on and what were expectations coming in. Allie, is she there?
You're pretty legendary, Ellie. That you didn't leave yourself much of a. You actually only got one more year left in you, really, if you look at that, haven't you? You came in as a rookie, got second, so there's only one more ladder to go up. So you've really only got 1 year to go.
Well, that's it. Fingers crossed, that we can align the dots. Yeah, see what happens.
Fantastic. Good stuff, Ellie. Tell us a little bit about your background. Like, have you raced the event before? Or what have you done?
No, so Coast was my first first outing at Coast to Coast. It was my second ever individual multi-sport race. Classic, come from an Ironman background over a few years, raced Kona a couple of times, probably did too many Ironmans and got fed up of it and thought I'd combine my love of running up hills and racing and do the Coast to Coast and do multi-sport, which is just way more up my street, I think.
Yeah. Good stuff. So you're obviously a pretty handy athlete going to Kona. Not anyone can sort of just turn up to do that. So what was the training like coming into the race? Like, obviously from an Ironman specific, which is it's a lot of mental toughness, isn't it? Just to be able to go in a straight line and deal with what that is. Whereas there's a lot of concentration and things. What did your training look like leading up to the event?
Yeah, so the lead up wasn't that great. I picked up an injury that led to me being non-weight bearing on crutches up until August, so the lead up wasn't that good. But the training for me for Coast is, like I say, you can combine missions and adventures, running up big hills and just not worrying about your watch or the times or power, just going out there and doing what you love. So yeah, it was different, and I didn't have a coach, so it was quite nice having that flexibility and just trying to trust myself and steering my own way through it, which was interesting to say the least, I suppose. But
nice. And what were some of the learnings from the training now knowing what you know?
Well, I'm not one to probably not do enough. If anything, I do too much. So it was always quite good to see what my other half was doing with her coach and just think, oh yeah, I probably shouldn't do that 10-hour ride that I was planning on doing or something. So yeah, it's just dialing it back in and trusting the process, I suppose. Nice. So
race day, it was an interesting day. Like the 2 day that I was involved in, we ran a different course. You guys went up the Overgoat Pass, the sort of main course. How did that? Tell us about your day. What were some of the key things that happened in your day?
Yeah, I mean, the lead up to the race, I was about ready to split my boat in two and call it a day, and wondered why I was racing a leak. My paddling just was not where I wanted it to be. So just really nervous about the paddle, and I kind of already doubted my ability with the paddle. So I just thought, let's just play to my strengths and just go for it. I stood up on that start line, kind of no one knew who I was or what I was about, and I could just sneak away and just get out there, put the pressure on. And so that was kind of my race plan, was just to go for it and put the pressure on. And if it paid off, I could potentially hold them off until the kayak, and see what
happens. So look to attack the race and give it heaps. You attacked the run early. And I think it's lucky that you've got fortunate that you've got or maybe it's part of your preparation, I'm not sure, but you had a bit of a mishap across the initial river crossing.
Yeah, so that infamous swim that I think TVNZ timed perfectly to catch me floating backwards downstream, really.
Well, there we go. We've got a picture of it on screen.
There you go. Yeah.
You did look in control. You never look like you're panicking looking back on the video. You look like you had it.
I could just see someone out the corner of my eye, and he was kind of running downstream, and I thought, this is quite serious. But yeah, just race nerves. And we always, when we'd run and practice that course, we'd taken the chicken line and used the bridge. So it kind of threw me where we crossed it, and I didn't know whether to head upstream or duck off left and pick up the faster running trail. So I was more thinking about the faster line after it, and it just dropped, and it was pretty deep. So
you survived that river crossing, but Glen Currie, who we just had on, was probably quite happy with that, because it meant it really justified his decision from the day before to send everybody else up the different route. So maybe thank you for that.
Yeah. No, and definitely. And I said to Glenn after the race, I just said, like, fair play. It was such a difficult decision for him, but like it was tough. That river crossing, you could just see how it can just so quickly change, and that things can happen, and you've just got to respect the mountains and the terrain. So fair play to the team for that decision.
So you come off the mountain run. Where were you in the mountain run in terms of placings?
I was first, so I'd led up until the kayak stage, and I thought they were just going to skip past me at any stage. I felt like a baby elephant trying to run up Goat Pass, and they wouldn't go and couldn't eat. So there's a few excuses there for you. But yeah, I was half expecting them to come past me pretty soon, but yeah, they didn't. So that was quite good.
Nice. And how was your paddle? That was one thing, as you mentioned before, that you were like, I'm a bit nervous. I'm not quite sure how that's going to go. And as Glenn mentioned before, the conditions turned pretty ugly early on, and it was quite cold. A lot of people got really cold on that river, didn't they?
Yeah, so it was bright blue sunshine at getting in, and they were insisting that we put our paddle jackets on, and I didn't think that was appropriate. And then it was the best decision that I've ever made. Like, if I hadn't have worn that paddle jacket, I probably wouldn't have finished. But I think it sums up my paddle in that my transition, or my support crew, or blame them, pushed backwards out of transitions. There's a photo of me floating backwards down the first rapid. So that kind of summed up.
Oh, we haven't got that photo. That's awesome.
I think I gave it the rock star sign or whatever.
That's right.
Just to hide my embarrassment. But yeah, the kayak, I went for a swim once. It was cold, just mentally drained me trying to get warm again. And yeah, it was tough. The wind, the southerly, just put you in lines that you didn't want to be in. And I didn't, like, my ability to read the river was way beyond where I thought I could be with it. So yeah, lots of learning and lots of respect for that river section.
Yeah, it's not something you can just turn up to, is it? You've got to, like, it will test you. It'll keep asking questions. You can't just kind of go to another place and just chip away. You've got to keep concentrating. How did you finish? How was your finish for you?
It was the finish. I knew I just had to get my head down on that last bike section. I think Corinne had put potentially 7 minutes into me over that section, and I got out onto the bike in third. Just hadn't been able to fuel all day, so it was just trying to eat as many jet planes as I could and just get my head down. And I knew that Fiona of Fee Dowling was hot on my tail. It was, nondescript, I think, would be the best.
What are some of the mental things? What do you do in your head when you're just like, well, you haven't eaten and you've had a few things go wrong? How do you keep in the game? How do you not give up? What do you do for yourself?
Well, you'd like to say that you do all the mindful podcasts and you do the resilience stuff, but no, don't. It's just a constant battle. Like, I was really ready to throw my toys out the pram on the kayak and just call it a day. But there's something that in the back of my head, I was just like, well, I'm in second, so I can't really be doing that bad. And the best thing about coast to coast is you could be the strongest cyclist, the fastest runner, the best paddler, but it's such a cat and mouse game that any silly errors or decisions or things that go wrong, and there's so many things that can go wrong. Something could have happened and I could have quite easily made up those minutes on Corinne, and the same could have happened to me. So just don't give up until you cross that line, because you just don't know what can happen on the day. So Perfect. And I'm stubborn, so I don't give in that easily.
Right, so be stubborn and just hang in there. Keep on going. That's good advice. That's very, very good advice. One learning, like a learning to take forward from the event the next time?
Yeah, I think the best thing for me was watching those videos that you'd made of the transition, and that's really not a plug for you guys, but honestly, we just discovered those transition videos the night before. Just trying to understand how the race unfolds and where you can make up time if you really want to race it. Just learning that, and just there's so many options to make up time, not on the bike, not on the run, and not on the kayak, that it'll really cost you. So and
that's just about being efficient and keeping things simple, isn't it?
Yeah, and just don't overcomplicate things, and I suppose just trust your support crew, and trust the processes.
My last question for you, Ali, was will you be back? I think you've already just answered that accidentally.
Like I say, second is good. It was Corinne massively deserved that win. I know that Corinne from being a Bay of Plenty girl, and she just, the effort she's got to get there and to take the win, she so deserved it. And second for me is good for a first outing, but there's so many points that I can see and hopefully time that I can make up. So I'll be back.
Good stuff.
Well, Ali, thank you for joining us. All the best for, now that we know, for 2021. We certainly wish or hope that we're going to have you back here for season 3 next year, and your little name tag down the bottom is going to have 2021 winner longest day.
Legend.
Legend. Hashtag legend. Exactly. Ali, thank you so much. All the best for all the training coming, and can't wait to catch you come Kathmandu Coast to Coast weekend.
Thank you, lads. Thank you for having me.
Good job. Well done, Ali.
Thanks, Ali.
Thanks. See ya. Good job.
Well,
what an awesome person. And hey, just to get up and keep on trying. That's the thing. Don't give up. Just keep on going. As falling out of your kayak, swimming across that first river crossing, not being able to eat anything. It's a race of attrition, this thing, isn't it? But hey, if you've got a positive attitude and never give up, you can go a long, long way.
And it's no different again. We always talk about this, Richard. Ali's second longest day in the women's category. Absolute, athlete and champion, and all she did was just keep leaning forward. But for anybody, for any participant, no matter how old, what gender, anything like that, 1 foot in front of the other, that's all it takes. Just keep leaning forward all day long, moving forward, eh?
Yeah, what key piece of advice I give people for any endurance thing is actually just don't stop. If you stop, you're not going to get there. But if you keep moving forward, whatever, however it looks, and you'll get there somehow in the end. So yeah, awesome, eh?
Yep. Right. Well, now it's time to bring Matt Bateman in, and Matt is competing in the 2021 Kathmandu Coast to Coast tandem section in a tandem team. Now, this is still a fairly new section to the Kathmandu Coast to Coast. So, Matt, how about it?
G'day, guys. How are you?
Fresh from the gym you are too. So your training's actually already started, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, no, it has. So,
yeah, brilliant. So Matt, tell us a little bit about tandem team. But it was a pretty late entry getting into that. We sort of got signed up for the Coast to Coast, for 2020. That was last minute sort of stuff. So how did that happen?
Last year I sort of was talking about doing the Coast to Coast, and I sort of thought about it, and then I actually missed out. So left it out. I thought, well, look, I'm going to have to wait till next year coming up. So. Nothing really come of it, and then there was a Facebook competition I saw, and when I saw the competition, it said, tag a mate or whatever, and we'll go from there, And I sort of tagged a friend, and I tagged one of my mates, Tessa, in. And all of a sudden, next thing, about 2 weeks later, it was in the start of December, we won the competition through We Are Canterbury on their Facebook page. So I thought, oh no, we're only about 8 weeks out now from the coast to coast. And I'd been doing a bit of running, which I had been doing. So I thought, shit, we need to really start to, I guess, pick things up a bit. And then we'd actually had another kayaker had joined our team as well, so Danielle. So we're all actually training for our own sort of sports, I guess. We're doing our own sort of training. And then we're only 8 weeks out from the coast to coast. And I thought, oh no, it's on now. So there was no turning back. And got along and just absolutely loved it. And I just thought, well, it was only short term. I guess it was like, we're just going to go to compete and just have a crack at it. And we ended up getting third in the 2-day in the 3-person team. So we're pretty happy with that.
Good stuff. That's awesome. So hey, we're doing some half marathons, and then all of a sudden you're doing the coast to coast. Then all of a sudden you're signed up for the tandem team, doing the whole damn lot. You're up to your elbows in it now, Matt. Do you realise that?
Yeah, I know. Well, I thought, well, look, I actually want to do the 1 day, not 1 day, that's just trying to do it individually. But I thought, well, look, if you can do the team event, it makes it so much more fun, when you're out there with someone else. And I've got my flatmate, so I've lured her on board as well, and we can just train hard together.
Did you enter without her knowing, or was that? Did you enter without her knowing, or was that? How did that work?
I just kind of said, well, we were actually talking about doing Red Bull Defiance when that got scrapped, and then I said, well, look, we're going to be doing this. We're doing some training together, and then we said as soon as this came about, I said, look, and I just got on there and booked us in. So we're all signed up for next year pretty much as soon as I left last year. So we're on now, and I feel a bit bad for my teammates from last year because we talked about it. Now we're all doing our own little events, So, yeah.
Nice. So, so how's the teamwork with your teammate there? How does that go? Like, is there a bit of racing to wash the dishes, being flatmates? How does that work?
No, we're right. Nah, she's thicking it with her hockey at the moment. But we've been training together. We're doing a few good runs. We've signed up for our kayak course in October. We'll do a few kayaks between now and then, and some cycling. But we're just going to start to ramp it up from 6 months, which is August. So it's only about 4 weeks away, and hopefully the weather starts to get a bit better than what it is outside now. And then we'll be on, But it's good to encourage each other. And I guess we're doing it together. We can pretty much kill each other in here, and hopefully we'll do it out there as well,
Yeah, brilliant. What do you think your chances of finishing are?
I think good, but I think, doing one event's fine, or one discipline, but doing back to back is going to be tough, and it's a tough game out there. And even doing the training runs, I used to get bad cramp, So you see a lot of people falling over wounded, and I think people that are, you gain it from experience, like people like yourself and whatnot out there doing it. So you're going to learn from these things, but I think it's a mental thing too, So I think we're going to have a good crack at just trying to finish it, and that's going to be our main goal, So see how we go from there.
Yeah, great, good stuff. And like you guys are both pretty competitive. How are you going to cope with that red mist when it comes down, and all of a sudden it's game on that bike ride?
Oh, I don't know. I think we'll just help each other out. You know what I mean? I think you just got to encourage each other, and I know it is going to be tough when you get on the bike and whatnot. And I think in the kayak, I'll just be as long as I can see that she's paddling, I'll be happy.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. That's the story. What are you most looking forward to?
Well, I think the run, like last year, I've been through Goats Pass a couple of times, and I was fizzed about, getting up there to do it. And we were going through Arthur's Pass, and Danielle, our kayaker, she was freaking out. She thought, obviously because it was raining and that, she goes, oh, look, I don't want to be biking, We were going down the viaduct, and I was like, shit, you would hate to be biking up the viaduct, And then I got to, we got to the race meeting, and then I was actually walking past you, and there was everyone there that had sort of been training as a big group, and then you said, oh, Matt, we're going to be running. And I was like, oh, God, we're going to be up the road. And then the next day, here I am running up the viaduct. I said you'd hate to be biking up there. So
so you cursed us.
I couldn't believe it, eh? But no, I'm excited to get up there and go through the mountain run. And that's obviously awesome. And then obviously, the bike and whatnot and the kayak looks pretty cool as well. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, good stuff. And learning new skills, getting into the boat, all those sorts of things, getting on the bike. That's all part of that journey as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think I know I can run, and that's one thing. But I guess anyone can say they can ride a bike, but I mean just trying to do it and back it up as well, And then obviously there is little things when you get into these endurance events where you got to be working hard, but it's everything else. It's the 1%ers and everything else that adds up to help get you those a bit further,
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Nice. So just as a wrap up, what are you doing in your training now? What's going on for you?
I run a gym, obviously, so I've been doing all my training there, so the HIIT style training, which is actually it transfers quite well into any sort of endurance or any sort of sport, you know. So I've been getting those sessions in quite a few times a week, and we're doing a big run, sort of once a week or either every 2 weeks, and that's getting a good like 20k in, getting up in the hills as well. So I've been doing that now. We're going to start to add the cycling in, and then get into the kayak, get a bit of confidence up, and they're the two things. I think like the kayak is obviously going to be a big learning curve, and then obviously the bike. I used to do a bit of cycling back in the day, so get that out and dust the old cobwebs off, you know.
Good job. So we're going to catch up with you along this journey through to race day across our podcast series that we're running. And a bit of a question I'm going to ask you and continue to ask you as we catch up is, if the race was tomorrow, out of 10, what score would you give yourself as a chance of finishing as a team, both of you together?
Oh, as a team, I'd say a 6 would get there, whether we're in one piece or not. I don't know. Like it's tough. I think I mentally know I could push myself, but whether I can physically get there, you know, I've had some bad cramp, like I said, on these things. I remember one time I blew my hamstring and then I pulled something on my, you know, like, so it's just making sure I can actually get my body over the line in one piece. So that's the, you know, I could get there, but I'm not sure how much cramp spray I would have had, or, you know, strapping tape I'll have on my feet. So no, I'm excited. But I'd say I'd be a 5. I'm a 5. I'm not confident, but I'll get there.
Okay, so we've just talked ourselves down from a 6 to a 5. Do you want to write that down for a second?
I'm going to see your faces there. I can see you.
Matt, thank you so much for joining us tonight on our first episode of season 2 of the Kathmandu Coast to Coast podcast. Like Richard said, we are going to be having you on again throughout the series to catch up where you're at. Who knows, you might find Richard and I floating around out there with you, just having a first-hand look to see where you're at. An appraisal session, we may call it.
Yeah, sounds good, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, well, thanks for having me.
Cool.
Thanks Matt.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Okay, see ya. Bye.
Well, Jeepers, I'm pleased that entries aren't still open there, Angus. Otherwise, I think you would have signed up after tonight.
That's why we've perfectly timed this. There is no better timing to do this, to get all fizzed up. But, Rich, actually, I can't get an entry, mate.
Yeah, exactly, which is fortunate, isn't it? Because, the dangerous things can happen. But, hey, awesome insights across the board from Glenn to Ali and Matt. What was your key takeout of tonight?
Look, Glenn, just can't go past Glenn, race director, how fizzed up he is, how great this event's going to be in 2021, and I guess how much we need it, to be fair. We need, like we talk about, after the year we've had and all that sort of stuff, we need a great event like this. People need an event like this. Yep, absolutely. I think for me, it's like what Ali said. It's how you deal with adversity and just keep on trying. Turn around, point your boat in the right direction as your support crew pushes you the wrong way, and just keep trying and see what can happen. And if you just stay in the game, and that goes for training as well as racing, just keep trying, figure it out, ask questions, talk to people. Everyone's really willing to share in this thing. You'll get to the start line and have an awesome time out. And Rich, just an update from you. Team CP, obviously, the Kathmandu Coast to Coast is a massive thing for Team CP. How are you shaping up?
Yeah, really well. Like we've got, there's 2 key things that we do for Coast to Coast. We've got our support crew, which obviously with internationals, we're just sort of seeing how that goes. But we've got a cool group of people on board, sort of lining up for that. So that's part of it. And then also the training plan things. So we've got like lots of different levels now. We've got from here's more of a guideline plan to follow, video content and all that sort of stuff, through to we'll hold your hand, we'll cheer you on, we'll jump out of the bushes, and do sort of the high end support as well. So lots of different options depending on your level and what your goals are.
Yep. So if you're out there watching this or listening to this via the podcast, and you have got an entry into the Kathmandu Coast to Coast, and you haven't got a coach or you haven't got a plan, get a hold of Richard, get a hold of the Team CP, have a look at their website, and make some contact, because I can guarantee you they will help you no ends.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all about just having some fun, getting the life balance, and enjoying yourself at the end of the day.
And a custard square.
It all helps, yeah, whatever your poison is. Absolutely. Well done, Angus.
All right. Well, thank you, Richard, again. It's been absolutely great to be back for season 2 of the Kathmandu Coast to Coast podcast. We will be doing this on the first Wednesday of every month, right up until the Coast to Coast. So don't forget to tune in. If you catch it on our website, catch it on YouTube, catch it on a podcast, play it back, listen to it again. But just keep tuning in and we'll keep you informed.
Yeah, well done. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Richard. Theo.
Yeah.